Broadway Beat. Broadway Beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, where we bring you the very best of what the New York theater scene has to offer. This week, it's David Mamet, John Weidman, and Stephen Sondheim. We'll drop by the opening night celebration of the Public Theater's highly anticipated production of the Stephen Sondheim, John Weidman tuner Roadshow, which is directed and designed by John Doyle and starring Tony Award winner Michael Cerveris and Alexander Gemignani. But let's start things off by meeting the cast of the new Broadway production of David Mamet's 1976 Obie Award-winning play American Buffalo, which has just opened at the Belasco Theater. They are John Leguizamo, Cedric the Entertainer, and Academy Award nominee Haley Joel Osment. We caught up with the three stars at Sardi's, where John Leguizamo, who has already been immortalized on the wall, helped unveil his two co-stars' new portraits. American Buffalo, which is directed by Tony Award winner Robert Falls, follows three small-town crooks who wax philosophically about society while conspiring to steal a rare and valuable coin from a neighborhood collector.
There you go.
Nose to forehead.
Hey, very good likeness. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. This is before I grew up. So.
That's a good jaw, like a Jay Leno jaw.
Excellent. Yeah, gotta get the hair.
You could have shaved.
Get closer.
They got you in costume.
My nickel, I can tell you what it is.
What?
I can tell you what it is.
What date it is? That don't mean shit.
No?
Come on, Bobby. What's important in a coin?
Yeah?
What condition it's in.
Great.
If you can, I don't know, count the hairs on the Indian or something.
You know, I tried to learn it before, which is not my style. My style is more organic, learn it kinesthetically, you know, learn it as you're doing it, which I think is the healthier, more conducive to like a better, more natural acting. But you couldn't really do it unless you had it memorized, which was a trick. So we had to start working on memorizing it while we're learning it, while we're rehearsing. And Bob Falls had a really good technique of we had to say what our intentions were for each line. So he married that to our right away, and we knew what each one was thinking. But now, you know, what's interesting is how it's evolved. All those early intentions are no good anymore because we're at a totally different, much more dangerous level now. And it's tricky play. It's a tricky play because the Pacino one was the Al Pacino show. He was magnificent, stellar. But everybody else kind of disappeared, and you didn't really understand what that play was about. The Duvall one, another brilliant actor, it was more of an angry, meaner one, but you didn't see the sympathy. You didn't understand why you should care. There was no humor. So we're trying to marry all three of those things, which is the humor, the violence and brutality, and the real pathos that these guys really love each other, man. That's all they got. This is the only family they got. Kind of like The Godfather in a way, you know?
Talk about the character you play and working with your two other fellow actors.
Well, I played Teach, you know, a role that Pacino and Duvall and Dustin Hoffman did back in the day. And my character's kind of, you know, like a lot of the guys that I grew up with, you know, kind of, you know, a bit of bullshit artists, scammers, really intelligent people who just can't really function correctly, you know, or have bigger purposes in their minds. And they'll go at it the crooked way if they have to, you know. And this guy's, my character's incredibly manipulative, incredibly insecure, incredibly needy, and violent. And then you have Haley Joel. Working with him is phenomenal because Haley Joel he's a real actor, man. When I'm working on stage, I don't know what's going to come out of him, and he inspires me all the time. He's just so present and so there. It's beautiful. And then Cedric brings so much depth and grounds that character in a way that it's never been a really memorable character. It's a memorable character now. You really love this guy, and you feel for him when he betrays Haley.
All right, so we call the guy up.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we can do this.
Now this is planning, this is preparation. Now if the guy answers, make sure you tell him. Well, I'm trying to tell you what to do if he answers.
What?
Hang up. No, don't hang up now. No, you can hang up now. Now. answers,
Yeah.
don't arouse his fucking suspicions.
All right.
Okay, and the odds are he's not there, so when he answers, tell him you're calling a wrong fucking number. Something. Be simple. Don't give me the phone. Give me the card.
This happened over the summer. John became involved earlier this year when Mr. Mamet and Bob Falls, our director, sort of decided they wanted to have a new vision for the play. You know, just in terms of casting and the way that the characters were played, because it's been done. There's been many wonderful versions of this play done over the years, but it's been a while, and we think now it's a very timely play to be doing, considering what's going on in this country. So with all that in mind, they set out for the three of us, and by the end of August, we were all set and attached, and we started rehearsals and just went for it. You know, it's the rehearsal process isn't that long. You know, so we've just been really focusing on it, and we've had our first performances the past week and a half, and it's been a very exciting experience. So
Let's talk about working with Robert Falls. He's one of the finest theatrical directors there is.
Oh yeah, I mean Bob was one of the most important reasons. I believe all three of us did this play. Obviously the material it's hard to get better than Mamet, especially first time out there. I feel very fortunate to be doing that. But having Bob was just such a guarantee of what the process would be like. I mean, he's one of the finest Broadway directors around right now, and he's very practical. His style of direction and his style of shaping this play was very much what I enjoy working with as an actor, and this is different from doing films, but the way that I've shaped characters in the past, Bob is very much in tune with how actors work, of course. So we were very fortunate to have him, guiding us.
And talk about the role.
Yeah, Bobby has usually been played older than, I'm 20 right now, so it adds a bit more vulnerability to the character, that he's aspiring to the same sort of convoluted standards that these other guys have in the play. He wants to be a businessman, and he wants to be a stand-up guy. But being a lot younger than them, Donnie sort of takes on a father figure sort of role for Bobby. And the decision that we made with this character is that, he has lots of conflicting interests. He's got a drug problem, and it ends up being, we had to decide whether in the end his feelings for the other characters in the play are stronger than his lesser instincts, So it's a complex character, and Mamet doesn't put anything on the page that doesn't absolutely have to be there. So it's really up to the actor to make those decisions in the characterization, and to come up with a set of facts, as we did, of what happens when I go off stage, because that's a very crucial part of the play, is what I'm up to when I leave. So
Hey, Bob. You did great coming here.
Yeah?
You did real good. Hey, Donnie, you did real good in coming here, huh? I feel like we owe you something.
What for?
For coming here.
What?
Something.
Like what?
He don't know. He's saying that he thinks that we owe you something, but right now he can't think what that is.
Thanks, Teach.
Sure. Hey. Stick around.
Okay.
What are you, busy?
I got some things to do.
Oh, what do you got? You got a date?
No.
What then?
Business.
Where'd they take him, Bob?
Masonic.
I don't think they have hours. They're starting till after lunch.
Then we'll go then. I'm gonna go now.
No. Hey, hold a second. Stick around. I feel like I should take care of you for coming here.
It's okay. I'll see you guys later.
Come here a minute, Bobby.
What, Donnie?
What's going on here?
Here?
Yes.
Nothing.
I'm saying, what's happening, Bob?
I don't know.
Oh, really? Mamet, of course, he's really known for, the words and his use of language, and it just really becomes, complex. You find yourself, trying to, each day working that muscle in your head, like, okay, how do I say this? How do I rephrase this in a way that the way Mamet writes? And so it is a test. It is a test of your ability for memorization. It's a test of performance and taking that performance to the next level. And to know that so many great actors has done this play, from Pacino to Duvall to Hoffman. So many great guys, and that now it's our chance to try to put a light on it. So I'm having a good time, and it's great, and it's challenging, and it's everything it was supposed to be.
Now, talk about the two fellow guys you work with. I mean, this is an interesting company because this is much lighter than this show has ever been when you look back at other productions.
Yeah.
The Pacino show was overpowered by Pacino, which was wonderful.
Right.
You know, Duvall was a little darker.
Right.
It's sort of, you guys are all friends in this thing, the way Robert has sort of directed this show, hasn't he?
Yeah. In this one, we try to really, try to expound upon the relationships, like who's who and why are they, a part of this play, and even the friends that get mentioned that you never see. And you kind of start to feel and get a very good sense of the overall relationships and the dynamic of the relationship in this play. And so with myself playing Donnie Dubrow, the junk shop owner, and then John Leguizamo as Teach, the wild, kind of crazy street rebel, and Haley Joel Osment as this young kind of kid who's kind of he's like homeless. We don't know if he's an ex-drug user. He's just a little kid that's like needs some love, and I end up being a father figure to him and a brother to John. And we got this crazy kind of weird dysfunctional family that happens at this junk shop on a daily basis. And we happen to go into one of the days where there's a lot of stuff going on. So this is great.
What was it like for you taking it out of the rehearsal studio and then adding the audience into the mix?
Oh man, that was of course that's the test at all points. I mean, because you rehearse it and you start to feel good and you get comfortable and you think that you know exactly what you're going to do with the play, and then when the audience shows up, it's always it's a laugh at a place you didn't know it was going to be a laugh. It's a gasp when you didn't know that they were going to react there, and then those kind of things happen. They kind of throw you off balance at times. You have to kind of again manage the play, stay on course, and any little word slippage could throw you off. And so that was the challenge the first time we started bringing audiences in. It was a little scary.
I got a piece of this.
You got a piece of shit, you fucking lame.
Oh, this come from the man who had to buy his friends?
No, I'll give you friends.
Fucking stay away from me.
Stick the deals you come in here with. You stick this one, you stick that one. You come in here and you stick this poison in me.
Oh, Christ, I live with fucking madmen.
All these fucking years.
Sonny.
You make life a garbage.
Sonny.
What?
Roadshow is the Public Theater's eagerly awaited musical with a score by Stephen Sondheim, book by John Weidman, and direction by John Doyle, who also designed the show's physical production. Roadshow marks Sondheim's first new musical to debut in New York since his Tony-winning Passion in 1994. We dropped by the show's opening night celebration to meet the cast led by Tony Award winner Michael Cerveris and Alexander Gemignani.
And their tradition of acquisition will build a place where a brand new world can play. Where have you been, oh my bride? Don't go
Tell me what this has been like working on for you.
Well, it's initially was a little scary because, you're working with the greats of musical theatre, and I had worked with Steve, obviously, before, twice now, but never on a new piece, both times on revivals, so it was a whole new experience for me, but it was so wonderful. I mean, John and Stephen are so collaborative. That was great. The cast were great, and I think the lucky thing was I'd never seen any of the other versions. So I'd not been to any readings or anything. I just sort of did my own thing, really. And I felt good about that. I think that was positive.
Well, let's talk about the material itself. What attracted you as a director and also the designer?
Sure, yes, also the designer.
Gorgeous, really beautiful. The whole look, that whole sepia tone, really wonderful.
Thank you. I think what attracted me was the story about America. Yes, the sibling thing is interesting. I don't have any siblings myself, so I couldn't quite relate to that. But the whole business of opportunity and opportunism, and when does one topple into the other, I think it's a serious story, and I'm interested in serious stories. Now, it has a lot of humor and a lot of irony and all that in it, but there was something at the core of it that I thought was right for now, actually. A show about now, even though it's about the Meisner brothers, who most people won't have heard about, in a way that's quite liberating. But to me, it's about what are we doing and what's happened to our economy and to the way we live our lives and the wastefulness of how we behave. That's what attracted me more than anything.
How do you feel tonight? The opening finally in New York of this show. How do you feel?
Yeah, very exhilarated. We really, it's been a long road for me and Steve, no pun intended. And, I think we both feel really satisfied with the show we wound up with and the production that we wound up with here at the Public. Oscar Eustis has been just terrific, and John Doyle has been great from the moment he came on board. And when I look at the show now, I see what a version of what we intended initially when we first set out to tackle this material a long time ago.
Was it 14 years ago that you first started working on this?
I'm not going to do the arithmetic.
Originally, what attracted you? When did you come to Steve? Did Steve come to you? How did it all happen initially?
Now, Steve was very interested and had been for many years in the character of Wilson Meisner. And, I had never heard of Meisner. He had a book that he wanted me to read, which was about the brothers. And when I finished the book, I told him that I was most interested in the relationship between the brothers and the relationship between the brothers and the period of time, the period in American history in which they lived. And so we've been working on the personal story, but also the relationship between the personal story and the larger idea of what was going on in America at that time. And I think that's what we've got on stage now.
Better than girls, better than booze, beating ace high with a pair of twos, better than snowdrifts in your shoes, even if now and then you lose. Exactly. The thing that really matters is the game. It's more than just the winning, it's the game. That moment when the card is turned and nothing is the same. The only thing that matters is the game.
I saw Bounce actually in Washington, so that was my first exposure to any of the material, although this really is not so much a continuation of that as sort of a re-examination of the same, source material, but it's really an entirely different new musical. So when I saw the new draft that John and Stephen had done, it was really exciting and an entirely different thing to what I thought I knew it to be. And some of the, a few of the songs sort of were carried over, but entirely sort of rethought and refigured and replaced. And then there was a lot of new stuff that I didn't know at all. So there was a question at one point about whether I would play Addie or Willie. And I felt really strongly that I really wanted to play Willie because I just felt like that. I felt like actually Addie is probably a bit more like I actually am, and Willie is just sort of, he's such a showman, and it's a really different kind of energy than I've played a lot lately. He's a real razzmatazz kind of guy, and I tend not to be so much. So that was a really exciting challenge, and then also I am drawn to the darker, complex kind of characters and trying to find the humanity in them and the fun and the wit, and all of that Willie has in spades. So, but I would have played one of the cabinets just to be part of it. So,
One of the fascinating things to me about him is at least in the way this story is told, because I frankly didn't do any research because I didn't need to. This production is not about the historical accuracy of the Meisner brothers. It's about, and I don't know what parts are historically accurate and which are made up, but the fact that this production so exists about the relationship between Wilson and Addison is really what you focus on, I think. I found how brave of this guy, after all he's been through, for halfway through the show to try to have a relationship with this young man. I found it so brave of him, especially if you consider what time period this was happening in. So I always, what's amazing is his weakness and his strength all kind of wrapped up into this big ball of drunken complication.
Take me back to rehearsals. I mean, the public seemed like the perfect place to do this. And then you have Stephen Sondheim, John Weidman, and John Doyle in a room creating a brand new musical with you. What was it like?
I mean, what? Like, it's like watching Shakespeare, I mean, and I was doing some interview and somebody asked me what it was like to work at the public, and I'm just going to repeat myself because in the moment I thought that's actually a really good way to put it. When you walk in the doors, you feel more creative. Like, you walk in those doors and you want to create. You just want to get your hands dirty. You want to just dive in, and that's completely echoed by Oscar and his complete belief and passion in the public and the people that work there and the pieces that get there. And, what makes Steve and John long-lasting artists in this community, John Weidman, is that they're collaborators. And you start getting them in a room, and it's like they're 21, and this is their first show. So their energy is inspiring. It's completely seeps into your skin, and so you come to work ready to work. And then Doyle, who is like, a pig in shit, man. I mean, he, working on a new Sondheim show, he turned to me in rehearsal and he was like, "Do you believe that we're doing this?" I was like, "I know. This is unbelievable."
I'm on my way, at sea but far from wrecked. I went astray, as who doesn't now and then, but on my way. I've acquired some self-respect, plus an old stone jug and a fakir's rug, a chandelier that's a bitch to lug, and a rattan stool and a coconut, and a whatnot which wasn't worth it, but I'm on my way again. Woo! Again.
Well, it's been terrific. One of the great joys every night is to sing. I have a song a couple of minutes into the show where I sing and then die, but it's kind of giving my two sons, Wilson and Addison, it's sort of passing down a mandate to them, sending them off into their life. But it is so terrific to do this to Alex and Michael every night. It's just great. And Alma Cuervo. So then the interesting thing is, and after I die, I come back to life, but I'm on stage for the entire show. And every now and then I interject a little bit, into sort of an observation of their lives. But the interesting aspect of it is to be there, sort of to bear witness to what happens to my sons as their lives unfold and how they take this idea that I've given them and twist it and shape it to as they will, which is, we talked a lot about this in rehearsal, and there are a lot of metaphors in this show, but part of that is maybe things that happen in America with sort of the American ideal, the American dream, etc. But it is a wonderful thing to be on stage for this whole time. And I said tonight to Cerveris before the show, I said, it's a great gift that John Doyle gave me. I said, you can sometimes think, oh my God, I'm going to be standing on stage for an hour and a half watching. But in this show, it really is a gift.
Follow on where we've led, make the past an underpinning for the future, for the road you must explore. As the road extends, it gets rough as it ascends, and it often bends, but it never ever ends. It will take you anywhere you want, if you know where you're going.
It feels fantastic. Tonight's actually my New York debut, so it feels really good to be a part of this completely dream company and amazing cast and amazing show. So.
Well, I was going to say, a new Sondheim, John Weidman, John Doyle musical debut. Doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Not really. Especially, when I auditioned for the show, I actually went to the chorus call and walked through the whole process. So really, they took a big chance on me, and it's been such a glorious experience to be a part of.
Talk about the role that you play.
Mm-hmm. I play Hollis Bessemer, who is kind of a spoiled, rich kid with just this amazing heart. And all he wants to ever do in his life is become an artist, but he realizes early in his life that he's not going to be an amazing artist. And so, therefore, the next step he decides to take is to help other artists create their own art.
You are the goddamnedest thing that has happened to me ever. When did I have this much happiness happen to me? Never. I can't believe my luck.
and all I can do is be the best thing that's happened to you.
So what do you say we just stay home? What do you say we just go out on the boat and get smashed and make love on the beach and stare up at the moon?
Ollie?
Just talk about the role. It's so beautifully written. I mean, what John Weidman has given you.
Yeah, they stripped it down quite a lot. As I understand, I've never read Bounce. I've only heard the recording a few times because I didn't really want to get bogged down in another version, although I actually really enjoyed it. But they stripped her down quite a bit and took a lot of some of the really overt humor and gave her a very clear path. And I don't. There's. Also, she's a woman that, like, I sing this song, Isn't He Something, about one son to the other one, and it's incredibly insensitive to be praising the one son with the other one present. But I don't think she gets it. That's for him. It's the fun thing, not to have to play. It's a smart thing that Doyle doesn't make me play a villainess. Yeah. He lets me just be insensitive, just talk about what I love and hurt him without knowing I'm hurting him, and let him get hurt, and you connect the dots, and as in the audience. And I think that it's smarter that way, and also it's the way things usually happen, is that people mess up and they aren't necessarily intending to brutalize someone.